Hey everyone, welcome back to the Crit Hit Wild podcast. I'm your host Jared. Joining with me this week is Fred and Brad. How you guys doing?
I'm doing fine, Jared. How are you?
I'm doing good.
How are you
I
doing,
guess I'm
Brad?
I guess I'm okay.
Brandon is on his way to the beach, I guess, so he won't be joining us this week, but we wish him safe travels as he's on vacation. So have fun, bud. So this week we are taking a look at Darkstar that just got released for Winter Guard. But first, some news and announcements. So not too crazy of stuff outside of course, the Darkstar reveal. But we did get an updated affiliation roster, and we know that Heimdall and Scourge are in Asgard, and then Scourge is also in Cabal. So what do you guys think about?
Yeah, I think that helps Scourge a lot. That makes him. You can play him and Enchantress in the Cabal affiliation, and that I think that is an affiliation that likes him even more than Asgard does.
I
Yeah,
think.
I
Okay.
don't think that helps Scourge as much as it helps Cabal.
Yeah,
Cabal
fair.
needed
That's
that.
fair. That's fair.
I mean, I think I heard something like now there's a three-pointer in Cabal that kind of does what Crossbones does, but he's better than Crossbones. I think that's what I saw on the Discord.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Like I said during his episode, I think that just means that he eats even more of Crossbones' lunch.
yeah. But yeah, no other news so far that's been released. So we can go on to Cerebro news. What updates do you have for Cerebro?
I think the only thing I've done since last time was I added tags for banned and restricted. Uh, and then I put the card pack in there. Those are both kind of stealth updates because that's on the back end. Um, I have some time where I'm stuck somewhere with nothing to do coming up, so I'll probably make some more updates.
Okay. Well, going on to hobby talk. I actually have not done very much MCP related. I've actually done a lot of like D&D hobby. So that's all I've had.
And I
Mm,
appreciate it.
yeah.
It's it's very cool what you have done.
Thank you very much. What about you guys? Have you guys done anything hobby wise? I guess not even with MCP. Just have you been doing any hobby in this past week?
I have not, but she who tolerates living with me has started painting several of my models, and one of the ones that she has done is Black Dwarf, and he looks awesome. He looks awesome. I'm
Okay.
excited to put him on the. I'm gonna have to build a Black Order roster just to justify putting him down. I'm excited to try him out.
What about you, Brad? You been doing anything?
No, I have not.
All right.
We're all just like we're all just kind of checked out. I
I
just to raise the veil a little bit. We are recording very early in the morning due to scheduling concerns.
yeah, well, I've had so my friend has visited me out of near Seattle, Washington. So he's come in for the week, and we've been spending most of the week either I've either been trying to trudge through work, 'cause I'm on vacation next week, or we've been hanging out in the evenings. We have played a lot of Eldritch Horror, which is a phenomenal game. Very, very fun. We actually all, I guess, it's getting ready to go into game talk.
Before we do that, Jared,
Yeah,
I'd
go
just
ahead.
like to point out that we now have a new segment. Okay, it's
Oh, do
like
we?
3 or 4 episodes in a row. We've had Fred lifting the veil.
Oh, you're right.
So we have a new segment every episode from now on. We got to have Fred lift the veil and tell our listeners what's going on behind the scenes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We clearly had some technical difficulties last week.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. There were some issues. So we do apologize for that. Um, whatever reason, Brandon has issues when he covers for me recording, so. But
yeah, if people can't hear me, if you re-download the episode, it's better. It's not great, but it's better.
Well, hopefully we've figured it out. It should not be a problem in the future.
Hopefully.
This one should be fine. So hopefully everybody who's listening is doing all right. If you guys do have any audio issues when you're listening to this one, please let us know. We do appreciate the feedback. It's helping us figure out what's going on. Again, this podcast is our first one that any of us have ever done, so learning as we go. But
Yeah.
Going on to games we played. MCP related, I know that you did play a game, right, Fred?
I did. I played against CJ this week,
Mhm.
And he was playing Web Warriors against my my Criminal Syndicate with Shadowland Daredevil as the leader, and it was a close game, and he pulled it out. He pulled out the victory, because Web Warriors is just really great at denying points, especially in the late game. And it all really boiled down to an attack that I made against Venom with Killmonger. I was going in against Venom, and with Killmonger, I activated Usurp the Throne and Cruel Tutelage, and
Oh, nice.
I'm thinking, I'm going in with my energy attack against Venom with 10 dice, and I needed to do something like 4 damage to take him to, in this circumstance, I believe, KO him. And I go in, I hit him, and I do all but one of the damage I need to do. And then he so many snacks,
Yeah.
and we are Venom,
Yeah.
and he blows up the dice and KOs Killmonger
Yep.
during my activation, and that was just devastating.
And healed the full health.
And healed the full health. It was really bad. It was a very bad circumstance for me. So, oh well, I lost, but it was a good game. I always enjoy playing against CJ.
Venom doing Venom things.
Venom doing Venom things. When we do him, man,
Yeah.
we're gonna have some talks.
What crises did you play on? I think you said. But
No, I don't think it was Superpowered Scoundrels and the Legacy Virus. Cure for the Legacy Virus. It was a I like that combination. I particularly like Superpowered Scoundrels for my Criminal Syndicate build.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't run Kingpin into that instead of Shadowland.
I don't have Kingpin in my roster
because
I'm trying to play. I'm playing a completely different game.
I gotcha.
Now, to be clear, I recognize fully that that's a mistake and that Kingpin is just a better model. But I don't want to play that type of game. I have an action bias as a player, and I recognize that. But I want to play. I'm playing this for fun, so I want to play the list that I enjoy.
Absolutely, fair enough. Yeah, like I said, we've played a lot of Eldritch Horror this week, like a lot of Eldritch Horror, which I think you guys both were able to play. It does suck that the one that you played had all the disasters and nastiness attached to it. It's might have been better to start off with one out of the core set, I think, like one of the Chthonian bosses, but
I enjoyed it. I got my character froze to death when an Arctic front came down and did damage to every city in the northern hemisphere. But it was a very fun game, and I enjoyed it, even though we all died and the world was consumed by apparently by giant worms.
Yeah, apparently.
Jared kept getting eaten by giant worms.
That might have been the most realistic Eldritch Horror game ever played, because we were going along, we thought things were going great, that we were going to win, and then everything went bad real quick, and we lost, just like it would happen in real life.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It is. It is a phenomenal game. So if you guys at home have not tried it out, I guess, like the Cthulhu mythos, it's really good. It's very well done. It's a lot of pieces, but very quick to learn, very easy to play. So I like it a lot. Well, with that, because it is early in the morning, we can kind of kick straight into it. You guys ready to take a look at Darkstar?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so Darkstar, aka Lanya Petrovna. These Russian names, I'm having a hard time with them. She is a 5 stand medium mover, size 2, 3 threat character that has a 3/4 stat line. She has the Darkstar Force gainer, I guess is what we'll call it. It's a range 4 5 dice energy attack that auto generates 1 power, and it has the special rule this character may reroll all of the attack dice for this attack. So she has a worse version of Doctor Strange's a reroll. Then she has
She has. This is the same attack that Captain Marvel has.
so hers is all the attack dice. Captain Marvel's is any of the attack dice, I think.
Uh, yeah. Okay. So there is a slight difference.
Yeah, hers is a little bit more like Strange, except she can't pick up the skulls.
Yeah.
Um, and then she has the Rending Force Spender. It's range 2, 7 dice, 3 power. Before choosing a target, you choose if it's physical or energy. And then it has Wild Bleed. So after it's resolved, character gains Bleed. She has 3 superpowers if you count flight. She has passive flight, and she has the active dimensional portal. Cost 3. Choose her or an allied character within 3 and place it within 3 of its current position. And then a character can only be placed by the superpower once per turn, so you could use it on multiple characters. Then she has the reactive Dark Force Barrier, also costs 3. When this character or an allied character within 3 is targeted by a physical or energy attack, this character may use the superpower. You add 2 dice to the roll against the attack. This character or the allied character cannot be advanced, pushed, or placed by the effects of that attack. So, again, from going off of Crimson Dynamo's leadership, a little bit more of a uh, anti-displacement kind of ability that she's got going on there. And then on her flip side, there are no changes; stays the same. So, yeah, a little bit of a short and sweet card. What do you guys think of Darkstar? We'll start with you, Brad.
Well, I think she's pretty cool. Like anyone who only has gain 1 power in their attack, you won't get to do all the things you want with her. You can't like reliably do your builder and a portal or a portal and the defensive role or anything like that. You have to pick one thing a turn. Now she can make sure that she has one place a turn, which is pretty cool. Um, range 4, 5 die, reroll. Well, it's reroll all, but that's a pretty good attack for a 3-pointer. I like her.
Okay. What about you, Fred?
So I very much like this teleport ability that she has. I think that has broad use anywhere in this game, and because of that, I think that she's gonna see splashing a lot of places. She's also just 3 points, which is pretty affordable, and she does some. Her attacks are not spectacular, but they are not non-functional either. And I like the ability to just pick up and re-roll all your dice except for skulls if you really whiff a roll. That's a nice little advantage that she has. Uh, I think there's a lot of cool stuff here. I also am a bit worried that this faction has two models that we know about right now, and neither one of them really hits hard a single target yet.
I
There are
think
still
that's
two
what
models.
I think that's what URSA Major is gonna do.
I think you're probably right. I like. I think that this faction is starting to shape up to look like a hold down objectives and deliver Ursa Major into the opponent's face looking faction. We'll see. We still don't know what Ursa Major or oh god, what's Red Defender?
Red
What
Guardian.
is his
Red
Red
Guardian.
Guardian? Red Guardian. We still don't know what either one of them do, but the more like I like her teleport a lot, and her defensive tech is nice, but it's expensive. I mean, it'll definitely come up, and it does a very good effect. Adding 2 dice to anyone's defensive roll against punch and energy is really nice. It is expensive. 3 cost on a model that's probably going to be a little bit starved for power is quite a bit.
I think it's interesting, her teleport, because people have toyed around with putting Lockjaw on lists, and this is better Lockjaw.
Yeah.
Not as consistent on the power, but she actually does something besides teleport,
Yeah.
and Lockjaw doesn't.
Right. Yeah, I want to put this in. I think that she would be great in a Kingpin list.
I was thinking the same thing, Fred.
I think that she would go great with Kingpin. But yeah, I guess that's my take so far.
Okay. I like her. I think she's definitely a character that you almost always want to have her in double tap range. So I don't think that she ever Dark Force Strike, God bless, is a really good attack, especially on a 3-threat character. Like being able to pick up and reroll all of your dice is really really good. Just makes her consistency uh, good. Auto getting 1 power kind of weak whenever you're looking at the cost of her superpowers. So I think if you don't get her into a position, if you're playing Winter Guard, for example, and then you set her up to essentially just shoot twice every single turn, you're gonna feel a little bit rough with her. I don't. I think that her spender's on here, but you never do her spender. Like it's a good spender. I think it's decent, but I just don't think that you'll ever spend her. I think that's kind of why.
No, even if she dazes and flips and you've got tons of power,
Yeah, you still don't do
you're
it.
gonna Dark Force Barrier instead.
Yeah, so I think like you can kind of tell a little bit like with how it reads. Like it's range 2, which is really like she does not want to be there at all. Like maybe after she would flip is the only time I think you would do it. But to Brad's point, like you're just gonna Dark Force Barrier Portal like with all your power. So
Yeah.
I think with just the kind of more standard text that you see on this card, the physical energy, it's a very good, but it's just kind of like a more basic thing that they put on some stuff, and then just wild bleed on a spender. Like that's all it has. I think that they know that you're not going to be doing it too much, like when they designed her. But Dimensional Portal, very very good. Can really change the state of a game. Just being able to blip characters around. And if she does get flipped, being able to teleport 2 characters around. One round is really good, and then Dark Force Barrier is really really good. A defense buff, and you can't be advanced, pushed, or placed. That's really good. It's 2 separate really good abilities that belong on their own superpower that are mashed together. So,
which is why it costs 30.
yeah, it's really 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 good. So, like I said, I think set her up to where she can get 3 power for the round and get off. Unfortunately, it's just 1 Dark Force Barrier or 1 Dimensional Portal unless she's getting hit on average. But out of a 3-threat character, I mean, I'll take it. Winter Guard, having a backline 3-threat affiliated that can do this stuff. I mean, she seems fine. I like her a lot better in other affiliations, I think. Like, a lot better in other affiliations. But,
Yeah,
uh,
she's a tech piece, and one that will almost certainly be great, very useful, but she's not going to be mixing it up.
I mean, I see her and I immediately think Steve Rogers Avengers or A-Force. Really, I really like it her in A-Force.
Okay.
Being able to do that on She-Hulk to make
Yeah.
sure that people aren't moving her around everywhere and controlling her. Yeah, I really like
Brandon's
her in
gonna
A-Force.
like
Yeah.
Brandon's gonna like that we talked about putting this motto in some lists.
Well, I have a list
I have
this
one as
week.
well.
I do too.
Oh my
We all
god.
came prepared this week.
Brandon's missing it. Wow.
Yep, yep.
Maybe we all did it just because Brandon wasn't here.
We
Just
all
to,
had to have something to. We got to fill that segment somehow.
just to troll him. All right, well, we can kind of get into the ratings. So we'll start with you this time, Fred. What do you think you would give Darkstar, aka Lanya Petrovna?
Okay, so this model is definitely not going to be like a show-stopping piece. She's not going to take anyone out unless they're really hurt. She's not going to be someone that says, "Oh man, that model really messed my day up." She's not going to be like a Venom, as I spoke about earlier. But she is definitely a tech piece that has a lot of utility on the battlefield, and I could see her being splashed a lot in a lot of different affiliations.
Yep.
Because being able to teleport like that, your own models, is pretty universally useful. You can, and also being able to guard against the opponent's control. This is really that's useful stuff to have. I want to put her in the B minus category. I'm giving her a B minus.
Okay. I like it. What about you, Brad?
Oh, okay. Well, as Fred said earlier, and I mean pretty much right there too, uh, she's very splashable. Like that teleport or the defense is great in a lot of factions. Jared said that he likes her in a bunch of different factions rather than her home faction. And splashability is like that hump you got to get over, I think, to be in the A range. I think she's pretty great tech piece, and therefore I'm giving her an A minus.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
surprised to hear B minus from Fred. Like
Well, I
that
mean,
seems real low for
that
someone you want to take in other factions.
B minus is not. I mean, I also don't have any metric for my grading. My grading is just off the cuff. But also,
Of
I
course.
think that's where I am.
Okay. Uh, I like her at first glance. I was just looking at her at work. I think whenever I don't see a whole lot of text on a card, I kind of am quick to gloss over. But I've looked at her several more times, and I do think that she's actually quite good. A little squishy, so I don't care for that. But it's a three-threat character who hopefully is in your back line. So, overall, a little bit of protection, not too worried there. Her gainer is really, really good. It's a great gainer for a three-threat character. And just Dark Force Barrier, having access to Dark Force Barrier and Dimensional Portal, like those are just two very good, strong superpowers. And I understand why they're three, because if they were two, like you put her in Captain America, Avengers, and she's in the back and she's able to shoot twice. You've got several rounds of Dark Force Barrier up and going. So I understand why they cost three. I do think that she will probably see a pretty decent amount of play in whether or not she sees a decent amount of play in Winter Guard. We'll just have to see what tactics cards and what URSA Major and Red Guardian kind of look like. I mean, having a three-threat affiliated is never bad, so I'm pretty confident that she's going to be seeing play. But I think she does really well in a lot of other affiliations, and she can really help out. I think that she can be obnoxious in like Kingpin, just keeping
Yeah.
people from being advanced and pushed. Like that's exactly what they love. I think again in A Force and Steve Rogers Avengers, who usually have large pieces that people are trying to move around and do stuff with their attacks. I think that being able to like having a Hulk and nothing can displace him, and then the enemy team is playing Hulkbuster. Being able to keep your Hulk from being displaced and he can just go up there and beat ass is amazing. So I think that she's pretty good. I'm gonna give her a B plus. I think that she's gonna see
Yeah.
quite a bit of play.
I think you're right. I would be very interested to see what cards this faction gets. I
Yeah,
want to see what else is added.
this is probably a terrible idea and it's not good. But I wonder how obnoxious it would be to have like her on one end, like if you play like 20 threat, have her on one side of the board, and then put Supergiant on the other side of the board, and just have stuff where like you can't be pushed or advanced or anything like all over the place.
Just own your position
Yeah,
at all points.
yeah, it's probably not good, but I feel like it'd be really obnoxious.
I mean, that's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea.
Okay, so we're pretty. I would say we're more positive on Darkstar, so not a bad piece. We can kind of go on to comic books now. What do you have for us for a comic recommendation for Darkstar, Brad?
Okay, I thought we were gonna do the list next.
Now we'll do that after.
Okay, for Darkstar, I said last time, each of the Winter Guard, I gave that one recommendation for the whole team, and then each character is going to get their own recommendation. So for Darkstar, I have a series called Darkstar and the Winter Guard. By the name, you can tell that she plays an important part. It's by David Gallagher and Steve Ellis. The Atlantean warlord Krang has landed on the shores of Russia, and the Winter Guard are there to stop him. That's what I got. If that sounds interesting to you, you should read that series.
Did you say Krang?
Yeah, it's unfortunate he has the same name. He was probably even he probably even existed before the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Krang.
Okay. I'm just picturing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Krang. This is a Marvel Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover in my head canon.
But it's not him.
I know. I
Yeah,
know. I
I'm
can
gonna
dream. I can dream, Brad.
I'm gonna put a picture in our chat
Okay.
so that you know you picturing the right guy.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Now we can go on to our list recommendations. Had to go do something real quick in my house. That's why we had to do the comics first. Um,
Oh,
so the list recommendation, I guess I'll start off here. I'm actually going to recommend her in Steve Rogers Avengers. I really like the discount that she has, and every turn, just one Dark Force. God, I don't know why I keep wanting to call it that. Dark Force Strike enables her to have her barrier online. I really like both abilities for Avengers specifically because you usually have a lot of good pieces that you don't want to be displaced. You have like a lot of like sturdy pillars. Like one example is Captain America in general. When he goes to bodyguard, you'll see a lot of people if they have an attack attached that has a push on it that um, they hit him with it and then they move him off, and then he can't bodyguard the target that he wants, and then they can unload into whoever the original target is supposed to be. Well, now that you have Dark Force Barrier, you keep her back. He can't be pushed anymore, so you keep him in bodyguard range. Again, you keep your bigger pieces like Hulk staying in the same spot where you want him. And if something does happen where they have like a superpower that advances or places them instead of the regular just attack. You have Dimensional Portal to help get your big pieces back into position to be able to do what you want to do with them. So I would probably start somewhere with like Steve Rogers' Avengers. I always take Sam. Then I would probably take Luke Cage, Hulk, and Darkstar as kind of like your very first building blocks toward your Avengers roster. And then from there, I would probably just fill it out with mostly Avengers characters. Maybe a couple splashes, but when it comes to Avengers, I like to try to keep it all as much as possible in affiliation, but I think that she's worth taking for them. So, and then the only tactics card that you really need for Avengers is Avengers Assemble. So there you go.
I've got a question. So for Captain America, he says each turn, every superpower used by a friendly model is reduced by 1, the power cost.
Yep.
Does that mean that she could, on her turn, have a reduced power cost on a teleport, and then on someone else's turn, have a reduced power cost on her reactive ability?
Correct.
That is some real sexy cohesion. I think that's actually a great she works great with Captain America.
Yep. Yep. That's what I'm saying. If you can get a decent amount of power on her, I mean, she could Dark Force barrier a couple times around.
Yeah.
So, pretty good.
Okay.
Well, since you're talking, why don't you go ahead and give us your roster, Fred?
Yeah, so I was thinking about her with Kingpin,
I like it.
using her ability to help hold down, like, say if you're playing on Research Station,
Mhm.
you can hold the middle much more effectively if she's hanging back behind it. She will, and specifically, I'm thinking about using her with Lizard and using her with Juggernaut. Now, you couldn't do all of those because you're getting way too far away from affiliation, because that's at least 2 models that are not affiliated with Criminal Syndicate.
Mhm.
But like, think about her with Juggernaut. Juggernaut, I mean, you could take Juggernaut and you could put him on the other side of the board, just with his own movement shenanigans and her movement shenanigans. That just turns, your opponent cannot count on where any of your models are in that case.
Yeah.
And you see, this is me again falling into my trap of action bias, where I want to, instead of holding down the middle, I want to be able to move my boys from one side of the battlefield to the other side of the battlefield. But whatever.
I think
I, I
she's.
I want
Go ahead.
I would, that's how I would like to play it. But I think that she could do a lot of good in helping Kingpin fight against lists that want to push him away, like, say, a Wakanda or a Web Warriors list.
Yeah, I really like it with Juggernaut because he can't be moved by like superpowers or mystic
Yep.
attacks, and then this makes it to where by physical energy attacks, he also can't be advanced push replaced, and a lot of the ways to displace him come from either like Hulk or somebody throwing him, or everything else is that has a size 4 move on an attack. So that makes him even harder to displace. So I really like that kind of wombo combo there.
Yeah.
All right, what do you have, Fred? Or not Fred, Brad.
Okay, so to make up for Brandon not being here, I actually have 2.
Oh,
So
Okay.
the first one, the Brad style suggestion is play her in Winter Guard
there it
because she's
is.
affiliated.
Grown.
But and then the Brandon style suggestion I have is well, it's kind of a Brandon and mine mix because I happen to know that she's a mutant in the comics, which is really cool. And you guys are probably expecting X-Men, but hear me out. What is a mutant that's very powerful in this game who hates to be displaced and would love to have a teleport? Magneto.
Is it Magneto? Yeah.
Magneto.
Jean
Yep.
Grey.
Shut up. I said powerful in the
Yeah,
game, not
Magneto.
useless. Yeah, you can teleport him to position. He already has a can't be pushed or thrown thing, but this, if he doesn't have the power for some reason, or if it is instead an advance or a place, and it's not Mystic, you can use her thing to keep him from being moved. Or if he does get moved, the situation was real bad, then she can teleport him back into place by going and making 2 attacks and then teleporting them. People have already played around with putting Lockjaw in their Brotherhood lists. This is better for lots of reasons. Not only is she not a dirty inhuman, but she is a mutant.
I mean,
She does a lot more than Lockjaw.
he can fuel her up like extremely easy.
Uh-huh.
She has probably way better power economy in Brotherhood than she would in probably like even Avengers and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I was not planning to buy this box. I want URSA Major for sure, almost no matter what he does. But she is the other mutant, and I think that's a great place for her. So I'll end up buying this.
All right, I like
Yeah,
it. Yeah, I like it. I like it in Brotherhood.
I think that's like money. What you just said. That's great. She's great with Magneto.
God, if
I
he
didn't even
does,
think about that.
they do both abilities. What is that? He's rolling 8 defense dice. Is that right?
Yes.
God, that's
And
crazy.
can't be pushed, placed, advanced, or thrown. So
Yeah,
you literally can't move him.
yeah, that's really good.
That's a great combo. Holy moly.
And like you said, she can afford it in Brotherhood
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
they have so much power.
Okay, well, that wraps up us taking a look at Darkstar again. Pretty, high is not the correct word. We're pretty up on her. She's a decent piece. We can move
Yeah,
on.
I feel like I undergraded her
Now
now that we've talked about
you
her.
gave her a B
But
minus, and
yep,
it's forever
it
locked
is
in.
indelibly marked upon her in
Maybe
the
if we
permanent
ever
record.
finish the characters, we can go back and regrade some people if
We'll let
you really
Fred
want.
we'll let Fred redeem himself. Well, speaking of Fred, what do you have for our non sequitur recommendation this week?
Well, so I have recently been reading a book. It is a manga by Junji Ito, and it is called Uzumaki. And this is a manga where a town begins to suffer this strange effect where people become obsessed with anything that is spiral formed, any spiral formation, and it begins to warp their mind, and it also begins to warp their physical bodies eventually. Uh, this is Junji Ito, so it is classic manga horror. There are some images that are truly unsettling in this book, and it's really quite a it's I believe it's Junji Ito's best work personally. It's certainly his most arresting with some of the images that appear. Think of a wooden row house, like an old school wooden Japanese row house, that is filled with human remains that are twisted in spiral shapes around each other to make a knotted human facade of just meat and heads. It's horrific.
Ugh.
And one of the the manga issues was about a galaxy that appears overhead that no one has noticed before, and this galaxy begins to have this bizarre effect. A dark star begins to
Oh, look at
affect
you. There it
people's
is.
minds, and it is certainly a I highly recommend this book. It is worth reading, and if you're into Japanese manga, this is and into horror, I should clarify, because that is very horrifying. This is a book. This is the book that in that genre
When did
that
it
is
release?
worth
Do you
reading.
know?
Uh, it's quite far away from me right now, but it came out, I believe, in the 90s. I
Okay.
believe it was, and it isn't just one book. It is the book that I have is a compilation of all the different manga, because they tend to be small, and he writes a large number of them, that are all based on this one story.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Fred. I believe that wraps us up for this week, unless there's anything anybody would like to add. All right. Well,
I think we're good.
thank you guys very much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed our review of Darkstar. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you like her, what you plan to use her with. Maybe you want to take her in a different affiliation than the ones that we mentioned. Let us know. But until next time, talk to you guys later. Bye.